It would seem that I've been snowed in the place that I live, which is not ideal whenever I want to be working in the shed, and this is the whole New Year's resolution type thing, to be putting out videos and working on the car to keep me strict and documenting. So that kind of sucks, but figured it gives us the opportunity to recap everything that you missed over the past 2 years. Without further ado, here we go. So I acquired the car 2 years ago from my father-in-law. He had bought a new car and the 406 sat out the backyard for like 3 years solid in the rain and the wind and the dirt and everything. So I thought, I want to get into cars. I've always had an interest in cars. I've always played car games. I've always wanted it. I've never been in the position where I could actually get one or wrench on one, or, you know, working on cars was such a impossible dream for me because it's I don't come from money, you know, and it takes a lot of money, and I just hit the point where I was like, you know what, fuck it, I want to do it. So I picked up the car off of him for like a couple £100, and with the full intention, might I add, of doing none of the stuff that I just have done. I wanted this to be just a beater car that I like and enjoy. I drive around wherever I want. I don't feel bad about it, and it teaches me, you know, how to change drum brakes, how to change fucking suspension components, bushings, you know. There's so many things that I want to learn with this car, and this was my car. This is the first car I ever purchased. I wanted it to be that sort of experience. I got a new battery, and whenever I took the old one out, I noticed there was a bit of rust in the battery tray, and thus begins the rabbit hole. Car guys and girls and everyone in the community talk about the rabbit hole of doing too much, falling into it, being too enthralled in a project. I was young and stupid because I thought I will just remove the battery box, you know, the box that the battery sits in, and then I would wire wheel the rust underneath the box and put the box back on, you know, clean it up, spray it, whatever, put the box back in, and that's it. But whenever I took that off, I realized there's another little bit of rust, and another little bit, and another little bit, and another little bit, and I thought, you'll hear that a lot. If I ever do a t-shirt or a merchandise run, I will literally put on it, I might as well. I took that there out, I took the coolant reservoir out, the power steering. Power steering was another issue. It was like very, very, very jittery, which I thought was a failing pump, which I now know with my experience, it was actually the universal joint between the steering column and the actual rack itself had seized. So it was like jumping around. I'll show it to you in a future episode whenever I'm rebuilding the whole steering components. But we'll talk about it then. I basically stripped the accessories from the engine bay, and it was just the engine. And I realised that the AC line was ruptured at the bottom. It must have got hit by a rock or something underneath. I don't really have a need for AC. It clutters up the whole engine bay. So I'm going to pull the AC lines and I'll cap off where the heater is. Done. Easy. Easy. Finished, you know? It was around this time whenever I realised that the sill on the driver's side needed done. So purchased the sill off of eBay. It came. I cut it in half because only the first half needed done. Famous last words. So once I got that done, and I tried to blend it in using Isopon for the first time and Bondo and all that there, you know, blend it in, sand it, blend it, sand it, blend it, sand it, you know, trying to get it nice and straight. I realised, well, if I'm going to do that, then I might as well take the engine out, and that'll give me the opportunity to respray the engine bay. So on Easter, in a fit of blind rage, I can only assume, I got the engine out myself without a hoist or anything. It was engine and gearbox. It's a 2-litre diesel. I did it with nothing but a trolley jack. And this was at the point as well I didn't have jack stands. It was around that time whenever I thought, I'll take all the suspension components off and respray under the car, because it's easy to do that. I'm not even going to take off the previous underseal, I'm just going to paint over it. Easy. It's easy until you put a trolley jack to the rear of the sill that you just repaired the first half. I tried to jack up the rear of the car and all I heard was crunch. It happened on both sides. Both sides in the rear were rotted and I didn't catch it. So whenever I had the other half, I thought, right, okay, I'll weld it in. So I welded it in. So it was new half, then a small sliver of the original, and then new half. And it was all botched, and underneath everything, as you can see in these photos, everything was rotted. Everything. I had to rebuild all of that. And then I had to do that again for the other sill. And for under the seat. And for everything. You know, at that point, I had stripped out the entire interior. It was about that time when I realized to myself what I had just done. I had completely dismantled my car. The one that I'm meant to be driving. My automobile that gets me to work. I stupidly dismantled it. So why don't I just restore the shell and start bolting shit back on? So that's what I started to do. As much as it pained me to do it, I got another sill. So that was 3 sills I had to put on the car. I hated the process of it because it wasn't just cutting off a patch that's rusted. It was taking the old sill off, cutting the supports for it. It was making new components, making new jacking points. Like, it was a whole fucking process that took so long. But it's done, it's solid as hell, and it's not coming off again. I will roll this car off of a cliff if I have to do it again. You can hold me to that. I will push it off of a mountain. I'm not touching another sill. That pretty much catches us up to what you've seen in the previous video. If you've made it this far into the video, thanks very much. I just want to talk to you specifically. Thank you so much for the support on the first video. I wasn't expecting it. I was literally saying to my fiance, I was like, I'm going to post this video. I'm not going to share it or anything out there shit. This is mainly just to document the process so that in years to come, I know what I did and I can look back on my first project and see my growth, you know? Because, I don't know, I'm sentimental and I'm old. But you guys really seem to enjoy the video. A couple of you subscribed, which is awesome. I really wasn't expecting it on the first video, so here's hoping you enjoyed this one also. There is more to come. I am trying my best to get a video out every Saturday, which is really difficult with my line of work, which is videography and such. You know, I work 5 days a week plus weekends, and I actually have a gig next weekend in Dublin, so I'll have to try and figure something out for that to happen. Maybe film on the weekend and head it through the week. But regardless, I will try to get videos up once a week. Something interesting. If you have any suggestions or anything you want to ask me or any of that there shit, just do comment. You know, I'm a fucking chill guy. You don't have to. You're not compelled to. Why not get a conversation started? So I think that does it for this video. I'll see you probably next week. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, have a good one.